The 8th grade Mitosis Meiosis unit is set up for 4 weeks, with the first week being the computer-supported collaborative learning classroom. Begin by going to the 8th grade Mitosis class infographic, which shows the flow of the 2-week unit. The first activity is making collaborative notes. Students will be watching a brief video. It's an animation, filling out their notes for their section. Once that's done, that gives them the information they need to explore the topic deeper, making Google Slides as a whole class, collaborating on a section of the mitosis process. There are 3 tutorials embedded within, from easy to moderate to more complicated. Once the slides have been presented to the class, students will do a quick check-in quiz. The quiz is a quick formative that will auto-populate data for the instructor once the students submit their responses. The sorting activity is the elaboration of the 5E cycle. When they are sorting, that will be directed by the instructor. The materials of how to sort are within the instructor drive, right there. And then, after the activity, all students will fill out an online exit ticket. This is based on the Collins writing prompts. Once they submit, their responses will be auto-populated and can be downloaded as a CSV file. The evaluation is a Flipgrid where they will be able to enter their password and, using the Chromebooks, film themselves talking about something that they thought was confusing about mitosis, or they have a question about, or something that they find very interesting about mitosis. Then they are digging deeper by going into mitosis with WordPress. The WordPress site is set up for the blended learning component of all the activities. The landing page tells you how to navigate and the workflow, all the links, roll over to a different color. These are the core ideas in learning standards. 2 nav bars, one at the top, one at the side, takes them everywhere they need to go. The first lab in mitosis is a more detailed video from Bozeman Science, where there's demonstrations and notes that they will be taking. On the mitosis lab handout, clicking on the link will download the handout for the students, and there's a hard copy of the handout inside of the teacher drive. That will give them the information to do the project. Now, the projects are all going to be done offline with the instructions online. Students for mitosis have a choice of doing a cartoon strip, a writing piece, which would be individual projects, or they can do a newscast or a claymation. So let's say, and those are group projects, they decide to do a claymation. Clicking on the project brings you to the instructions. For claymation, we're discussing frame rate and materials for sculpting, different recording devices and apps, a little more detailed instructions. Then each project has a rubric. They're all the same levels, 9 points, pro, apprentice, and novice. Students will wrap up the second week by presenting their projects, and then it is back to classroom. Now they are in meiosis. You can see that the meiosis unit is laid out similarly, but it has different color, different images to differentiate it from the classroom mitosis. Computer-supported collaborative learning occurs in classroom. There's the infographic explaining the flow of the class. Then they will go to rotation stations. So for this 3rd week of mitosis meiosis, they will be watching 2 different videos, one comparing mitosis meiosis and one an animation about meiosis, filling out a Venn diagram, which exists as a Google Doc and can be done online, but can also be downloaded and done offline, and also an annotation activity. Now, we're going to go deeper into exploring, and students will be doing a brief research into meiosis, filling out a PMAT chart: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. They can draw pictures, they can add notes. And in meiosis, those stages happen twice, as everybody knows. Now they're able to elaborate on their knowledge. So they'll be teaching it. They'll break up into groups of 3 and 4 to teach an aspect of meiosis. Once again, a sign-up sheet. Either they can self-assign or the teacher can assign, and suggestions for teachings include flashcards, poster, song, poem, quick game, ending with a reflection, once again, another Collins writing prompt. Once the prompts are filled out and submitted, they can be compiled and downloaded as a CSV file. On to meiosis in WordPress. So we overview the meiosis, what they've already learned. We have the same infographic explaining how the meiosis unit lays out. And then they go to the lab. In the lab, a comparison of mitosis and meiosis. And then a more complicated video from Bozeman Science with detailed graphics of those more complicated aspects, including the crossing over. For meiosis, they have 3 choices. These are all individual projects. They can create a 250-word story about meiosis. They could design a flag book or a Punnett square. Let's look at the flag book. Nice little example there. Instructions. More detailed instructions. Each project, once again, has the rubric. Let's take a look at the Punnett square activity. This is the one that discusses Mendel's laws in more detail, all of the overviewing and dig deeper sites are live links. This is an embedded SlideShare showing an example of what you can do designing an imaginary creature such as SpongeBob SquarePants. Finally, students would make up to 16 Punnett square. Once they are done, it is back to classroom for the final. The final is a combined mitosis and meiosis unit, and the assessment could be done online. It also exists as a hard copy Word document file inside of the Google Drive. So going into your Google Drive, you will see all of the handouts, all of the handout answer keys. And the answer keys were original graphics created by Schroeder, Girbino, and everything, including the worksheets and the exit tickets, are also in your Google Drive folder, and instructor notes in the mitosis unit for how to handle the auto-graded test quizzes and the kinesthetic activity, the sorting activity.